Hi, I'm Lovoni.
And I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Lovoni and Sarah podcast, where we talk all things weight loss and well-being. On today's episode, Lovoni and I are sharing what we're doing to make our weight loss transformation enjoyable and, dare I say, fun. And while self-discipline and consistency are keys to losing weight and getting in shape, without enjoying the process, you're not going to stick to your plan and make this a way of life. Before we dive into episode 40, let's have a quick catch up, and maybe we should address the fact that we're not in standard. Well, for me, it's not standard, maybe for you.
I was trying not to laugh the whole way through you reading that.
Because I was being
for
so
that
sensible.
very reason.
Yeah.
Although I think this just needs to become my attire. Yes,
Okay.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Yes, 30th. We're close. 30th of October. So we decided we were going to dress up for Halloween.
Yeah. Have a bit
obvious
of fun.
I'm a witch.
Yeah.
And I was showing Sarah my...
I know, you've got to show the full outfit.
I know, right? Look at these sleeves. This is the most amazing thing. I got it online from a company called Torrid. And so
come on, flash your leg. You're going to have to give us a bit of leg. I don't
want to have to...
For those listening, you're going to have to come and have a look on our YouTube recording. Right? You've got to see this.
Yeah. So this dress has even got pockets. It's awesome.
Convenient.
But so, and it's cinched in there like the Empire thing. Okay, hang on, let me do
ready.
This.
Here comes the legs. Yeah, there it is. So I've got black and white striped stocking.
Yeah. Wait, I can lift it up a bit higher.
That's really cool. Look at that.
Yes. Very witchy poo.
Very, very cool.
Now let's talk about you, Sarah.
Okay, mine's just a standard morning for me. I have a long...
God, I'm sitting on my sleeve.
Oh, well, you're right. Watch your hat. It's all going a bit...
It doesn't quite fit over the headphones.
It's the headphones that cause it, yeah. I have a long white silver wig with fringe, a full fringe. Sort of Day of the Dead look. It's amazing. That's what I was going with, yeah.
I told Sarah that she needs to just keep it, dye hair like that. Yeah. I think we might embrace this. Could be a new look for us. Although I have to get a better hat.
And I'm not sure about the painted face every week, if I'm honest.
Right.
Quite some time, but
but I kept commenting on the makeup on the other side.
Yeah, the other side. So yeah, for those obviously just listening quick, I've got a full painted left-hand side of my face, and my right face I've kind of gone slightly more extreme, so a full wing on my eye makeup on the right side with a red lip.
I think you should just wear your makeup like that all the time.
What, with the
wing?
Doesn't
look overdone. Yeah it looks so good. Yeah.
Okay, well,
you can tell you draw. Sarah draws, and she's got like, it looks so good. The other painted side.
Painted my face. Yeah. So I could do this whole look one way, and then you're talking
right, and then you turn the around. Other. Yeah. Anyway,
we digress.
Yeah. I know. I do like getting dressed up, I have to say. Just.
Well, this is the other thing. When we talked about dressing up for this episode,
right?
You sort of said, "Is that going to be okay?" It's like, yep, I'm on it. I've got a full drawer of dressing up, so I have options. But I knew that I was going to be all right with this. And
we need to pick something every month, or just not every month, but like each time there's like Christmas,
a big event,
like an event on.
Okay, let's do Christmas. Whatever. Let's do Christmas.
Oh yeah, we're doing Christmas. Yeah. I'll be that'll be recorded in Australia.
So you'll have a hot Christmas, but you'll be okay.
I'll be having a hot Christmas. Yes, it'll be very hot, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, my weekend, oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna fess up. It wasn't great.
In regards to
just,
food, drinking.
I had an epiphany yesterday, and that is like there can't be cheat days. Like that makes it seem like you're on something, right?
Yeah, exactly. We've said this.
There can't be cheat days. There can be enjoying going out and making better choices. But I took Friday and Saturday is like cheat days, really.
Right.
When I'm honest, like Friday always is, because I weigh myself in the morning on a Friday.
Yeah.
And I'd lost a couple of pounds, so I'm sure I just put the whole lot back on over the weekend. Yesterday wasn't as bad because
but don't forget this is a long-term thing. It's not it matters by the end of the day, does it?
No,
but it matters in a year.
But because it's long-term, you can't have those cheat thoughts, because it all needs to just be cohesive, you know, like just it needs to just work as an ongoing thing, not cheat thing, because then it's the mindset of the good food and the bad food.
Do you not think that goes back to you with your guilt feelings? Because I would eat that and not worry about it, you know, as in, well, in fact, I did. So over the weekend, my weekend was very, 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 very busy, moving, lifting, shifting, hired a van sort of to that extent, you know, that amount of stuff. So I ended up over the weekend, I've had a Chinese takeaway meal and I've had fish and chips. Okay. And then yesterday I thought I really need to eat something clean, something vegetable based. So I had a really clean day, cooked a really simple meal with lots of vegetables last night. And this is going to annoy you, but I did have a quick cheeky weigh in this morning, and I'm actually lighter today than I was on Friday.
Oh, now, really?
I was on the go all the time.
Right.
And when I had those things, I didn't mound my plate. This is the other thing, you know, I thought I could enjoy some of that, but I'm just going to go kind of a smaller portion of it. Yeah. Because I think I do remember, I don't have Chinese takeaways very often, but the last time I did, I didn't feel great afterwards. I was a bit like, I'm not sure it suits me. So I thought I'll take the approach this time of just, I'll still have it, but much smaller amounts. And I felt fine. I didn't feel overwhelmed. And as it was, I haven't kind of undone what I've been working to before. So I think that's, like you were saying, there is no cheat time, is there? No. It's just a case of building it into your lifestyle. And how is that? Because sometimes you're going to have to do that. We didn't finish unloading a van until 7:30 on Saturday night. Right. We've been on the go since 8:30 in the morning. Then. No, so we just swung by the fish and chip shop and got some of that. So every now and then that's going to happen. Yeah. And I didn't feel guilty about it at all. I said, that's fine. I know that
Sarah's devoid of guilt. I've got your share.
Yeah, you carry
I have guilt about everything. I do.
But I just think it's food. I mean, there's plenty you could feel guilty about in life, but that is surely no.
No, a lot of people have guilt around food. Listening to you say that, I didn't eat everything. I did leave like probably a half portion of my food.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was fried green tomatoes with a creamy sauce. They were delicious, but I didn't eat it all. And then I'd ordered nachos because it just sounded good. And I just was I wanted picky food, but it wasn't really what I felt like. And I had menu envy, as I always do, over Lawrence's. And he got pork and mashed potato and green beans. It was a small portion. He's like, oh, I'm too full. I can't eat it.
You're like, give it over here and I'll finish it. Yeah.
No, I ate it instead of the nachos. So,
okay.
Yeah, I didn't eat all the potato though. But it was just more food that I would normally eat. And then, and then I had 4 cocktails.
Wow.
I didn't finish the last one. 3 or 4, something like that.
You don't go out much.
God, that sounds awful, doesn't it?
I didn't mean that you're like a recluse. But what I mean is,
go out much.
You're not like out every weekend drinking or stuff like
that.
No, are you?
God, no. And I really don't drink during the week either.
No.
Not because that was a choice. I just don't do it.
No.
Just,
So all I meant was, I don't think you should give yourself a hard time when you do have that occasionally.
I know, but I've got to stop. Like, I could have gone and I could have made better choices. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, it's done.
It's done. I moved on from it. Yesterday I made scallops and cauliflower, which surprisingly worked together. They don't sound good. I made a puree with the cauliflower, and I made pork with prunes and apples in a red wine sauce. It was delicious. Nice. Yeah, with green beans. And I really didn't have much of either of them. So, yeah. But anyway, I just need to stop thinking, oh, this is going to be my cheat day. It's like, just get a grip.
Stop thinking too much at all. I think just choose wisely. Just go, okay, I'll have a little bit of that then. Yeah, and then move on.
And not stuffing my face, which I find I can't do anymore. If I do that, I'll spare everybody the details, but it does upset my stomach.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just hate that feeling of feeling so full that you don't know what to do with yourself.
Right.
That's the bit that I seem quite unbelievably to have left, because I could cope with that fine before. I just wait for it to pass and then I could have some more. But this time I'm like, oh no, I just don't want to be that stuffed. So I think that's one of the notable changes, I think, since I've been eating different foods and eating differently, that's definitely changed.
That's good.
But, you know,
so yeah, that was our weekend.
But that links nicely into having fun, because the point is you had fun.
Yeah, I did have fun. And this is the second time I've dressed up in about 4 days.
There you go.
Yeah, because we went to the Rocky Horror on the weekend. So yeah. But you know, I quite I could get used to it, let me tell you. Yeah.
You've got a bit of a witchy vibe, haven't you?
I do have a witchy vibe. But you know, people think when they go into this, when they decided, okay, I really need to lose weight, it's time to get serious, they think deprivation, sacrifice, it's going to be hard. And, you know, and I think hard, that's okay. Like, it's okay if something is hard. Do you know what I mean?
It is okay, but
it's okay, but it's not a great mindset.
Yes, exactly that. I think entering into it like that, you've already made it more difficult before you
right than it has to be.
Yeah,
but you know, things that so this is also something I did on the weekend, and I think this is a really good thing to, when you decide, okay, it's time, because it's time right now for anybody that's listening. If you're contemplating this, it's time. But something that I did on the weekend, and I do this twice a year, sometimes 3 times, is I went through all my clothes. And, you know, it takes me a day to do, but it's such a great feeling afterwards. I went through all my underwear, and any sort of loose threads on any undies, you know, they got pitched. Any tops that might have had like a bit of a stain or whatever, because I'm constantly spilling food on my boobs, they got pitched. You know, I just was
cleansed.
I was cleansed, I have to say. I also bought myself some new underwear. Oh, wish I could show you what, because I've also got spooky underwear on.
Now that would be a different sort of episode.
Right. I should have shown you that beforehand.
Spooky underwear.
Yeah.
What's grey and
black. It's got skulls and ravens.
Oh my God.
What else is on there? Can't remember what else is on there, but yeah.
It goes with your bat earrings.
Yes.
Bat
earrings. I'll put in the link where I got the dress. But anyway, it's so soft and so nice. And I know I digress, but well, I know I'm talking about my closet. So anyway, I went through everything, ordered myself some new underwear, which felt fantastic. Excuse me. Still got that lingering thing from the cold. That and the fact that I sang all night on Saturday.
You're a horse now.
And I was, coughed the whole way home. So that's a really good place to start. That, and doing the pantry as well, and getting that all clean and sorted, and tossing, you know, stuff, because flowers and things like that, they all go rancid. IKEA is a really great place to buy some jars. You know, it's not horribly expensive, because, you know, I get that these things cost money, but you can do it on a cheap, and you don't need a whole lot of clothes. And I have to say, when I was doing my clothes, I'm like, oh, that's ridiculous. I have too many clothes. So I'm not buying any more for the season. And and the same with summer. So I'm not.
And also, this is a good point, because obviously you've lost quite a few pounds now. Do things feel a little more comfortable? So it gives you some options of wearing different things that you might have had in your wardrobe?
Not yet.
No,
because most of what I have is kind of stretchy anyway.
Okay, so it doesn't really impact.
No, I might look a bit better in them.
Comfortable and enjoy it.
But you know, no, not yet. That's what I want to be at that stage. But anyway, that's a really good place to start, because it gives you a good feeling. So already you're starting with that feeling. And a big thing, I think, for people is to be adventurous. Just, you know, maybe not necessarily in their clothes, or that's, you know, entirely up to them, but with food, because I think that's a big thing. If you eat the same thing all the time, or if you go into it thinking you're going to have poached chicken and broccoli, I've talked about this before, it's a good idea. Like, choose just a different recipe a week. On the internet's such a great place for finding recipes. And the Eating Well website, which I'll put the link to that, has really good recipes on it that, you know, it's sort of wholesome, not necessarily what, you know, healthy, but they're meant to be, I guess. But I'll put the link in. just try something new. I mean, you do that, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Like,
Yeah.
you try new things.
And things I've seen on Instagram reels, or maybe things that you send me through and say, look at this. I'm like, that looks great. I'll give that a go. And particularly then we moved into a lot more vegan food. It's not necessarily vegan, but because it's the dairy free, then that's opened my eyes into a whole different world. Now, I tend not to use the replacement things. So I guess if someone is strictly vegan, they use replacement. I don't do that, but what I have done is really focused on the fresh food, so the vegan, and basically just making sure it hasn't got dairy in it. So yesterday for our evening meal, we did have a dairy-free pesto that I put on top of the chicken breast that I cooked, but I just pan roasted. I chopped up butternut squash and some potatoes and put some garlic in there, and then roasted those off, and on the top kind of piled some spring greens and green broccoli, really fresh, just effectively steamed, really lightly cooked, and then put the pesto chicken on top, and it was really tasty. It took 45 minutes probably from start to finish by the time the potatoes and sweet potato butternut squash had roasted off. But and particularly after having takeaway food over the weekend, I felt a bit more balanced. I was like, I'm really craving this sort of food. So yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated. It's just thinking differently, because the tendency could have been, well, we'll get another takeaway because it's been a long weekend, or get something quick out, like an oven pizza or something. But actually, genuinely, it didn't take long at all. Bit of effort maybe to cut some vegetables up, and that's it. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's changing the mindset, and thinking of some new ideas, seeing things you like, and just go, well, I'll give it a go. It doesn't have to be perfect.
And like you were saying about changing the mindset too, is thinking about cooking in a different way. I don't think, I've got to cook. It's like, you get to cook, you can cook. And even if people that don't cook, they can still cook. You can follow a recipe. If you can read, you can cook.
Yeah, exactly. And take the pressure off yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not presenting it to MasterChef or anything.
No.
Give it a go. And if it didn't work out perfectly this time, just go, okay, I'll change it a little bit next time. And I think some of the pressure where you're not having fun and enjoying it is because you have put that too much pressure on yourself. You're thinking, I have to lose a certain number of pounds this week, otherwise I failed. Or I have to have worked out this number of times this week, otherwise I'm really letting myself down. Or the food has to look a certain way. Absolutely not. Just take all of that pressure away, and genuinely, if you've done something more this week than you've done last week, you've won. And just take it as that, because it's not supposed to be this, really strict and heavy and hard going situation all the time. Sometimes you've got to push yourself through, but it doesn't have to be like that all the time. And that was one of the things that I wrote down when I was thinking about how do we make this enjoyable. I was thinking, make it less daunting. So a bit like you were saying, just to look on the internet and find something. It doesn't have to be that it has to be some great book that you've got to buy in or anything. There's so much choice out there, isn't there? So make it less daunting. And once you have broken it down into smaller chunks, I think it's worth then celebrating the little wins along the way as well. So if you've cooked 3 fresh meals for yourself this week, and normally you don't do it at all, or you just do it once,
that's a big win.
You've had a win.
Yeah.
And I think you should celebrate that and give yourself a bit of a pat on the back for it.
I think too, simpler. Like the more simple you can make something, the more likely you are to sustain it. Yeah. And I know that, macros, counting macros, and I know that works, but it's a lot of fucking work too. Yeah. And I think if you want to sustain this, I think people won't sustain that. They will lose weight and then go, okay, I'm done. I got to where I wanted to be. And then the chances of them putting the weight on are high, and they are high. Statistics say that they're like 95% high. So keep it simple. And by that, just doing things like eating less processed food, making more things from scratch, which can sound a bit, but if you've ever made bread, or if you've ever made pastry or mayonnaise, these things from scratch, you get kind of a bolster, like confidence bolster. I mean, even me that cooks for a living, when I make bread and it turns out
Yeah.
It's just, you feel pretty chuffed about it. It's good. It's a nice feeling. So, if you do love bread and you want to lose weight, you don't have to give that up. But if you can try making it yourself rather than buying it,
yeah,
one, it's going to be a bit cheaper. But if you get supermarket bread, it contains so many different preservatives, a lot of salt. Just try making it yourself.
Yeah.
There's a recipe on my website, and I will leave the link for just a simple white artisan bread that's really good. And it's so easy to make, and you don't have to do anything. You just basically mix everything together and leave it for almost a day.
Really?
So yeah.
What it activates and stuff.
Yeah. And then, the yeast just produces a really nice flavor, and it's a wet mixture. So it's chewy in the middle and it's really crusty on the outside. But making stuff from scratch eliminates the processed food. And that in itself can help you lose water weight too. Because a lot of us hold on to water weight. I know I do, from eating, not that I eat a lot of processed stuff, but just, too many carbs, or like
salt.
Carbs that aren't good, salt. And, a lot of people, that drink pop or soft drink, whatever you want to call it, or that do have processed food. There's a lot of salt in those, and just, artificial flavors and colors and things like that. Even honey, there's stuff in honey, for goodness sake, unless you buy it. Yeah. Some honey isn't like all honey either.
They pad it out.
So, and that's another thing, like, have fun, go to a market.
Yeah.
That you've
Enjoy
never
what
been
you're
to before.
buying.
Yeah. I mean, even Aldi has some good choices every now and then for like different things that comes in. If you're an Aldi shopper, I know that, you have it in the UK too. Excuse me. Somebody said, speaking of honey, I went to buy honey the other day from a local farm, because I really, really like the honey. It reminds me a bit more of Aussie honey that I'd had. It's lighter and it's just got like a bit of a floral note to it. It's really good. Anyway, she said, oh, we got talking about different things to do with honey, and she's like, oh, your stuff sounds kind of fancy though. And I said, well, it's not. It's all just stuff from the grocery store. I mean, sometimes if I'm doing Asian stuff, I'll go to an Asian market. But what I was telling her was all stuff you could buy at the grocery store. It's just how you combine it, or what you do with it. And so, that's another thing. Like, I love pastry, and I mean, I've lost weight, and I still am in the process of, but I still eat pastry every now and then. Like, I'm going to make a tart tonight, like a French onion tart tonight, but I have salad with it, and I don't have a massive piece. So it balances out. And then you've got leftovers. You can have it for lunch, or, family can take it for lunch or whatever. But yeah, making it, just, I don't know, just changing it up. One thing that I love to do, Sarah teases me about this, is a meal plan. Like, I love meal planning. That can be fun. If you get a folder and you found recipes that you like the sound of, print them out and, pop them in this folder and just try something different.
Yeah. I think if you lean into that feeling, then so all those things you've described of trying something different, even when you talk about your, sorting out the closet, the tidying, whatever it is that you're doing. So whether it's the exercising, whether you then see some pounds coming off, I think, like, lean into that feeling and actually make it fun, enjoy it. That's part of it. It's not just a case of like, oh, I'm only just at the beginning of my journey and I've got a long way to go. No, again, it's mindset, isn't it? But if you just give yourself a bit of a buzz from that, lean into that feeling and enjoy what you're achieving, I think that's another tick box in making this whole process and journey an enjoyable one. Is actually enjoy those small bits along the way, whatever it is, even if it's just a bit of tidying out a drawer. We've said before, you keep opening the drawer and looking at it. It's an enjoyable feeling when you keep looking at what you've achieved. So I think that's what you just described there. I think that's something that's definitely a win.
And setting, another thing I'd written down too was to challenge yourself, like setting challenges for yourself. Just small things, and then you're just add to it. Like Sarah and I talk about every week, we set a goal, and that's our, challenge for the week. And that can be a fun thing to do as well. I have one for the end of this month. There's a certain weight I want to get to by the end of this month, a certain amount I want to have lost, I should say, by the end of the month. And it's not doable, because I've learned to stop doing that. It's totally doable, but it's a little challenge, and I'm so want to do it. So I know I will. So I'm going to. Another thing that I do is when I work out. So if I've got something that, say, I want to buy or look for something, like, I want a red pair of sandals to take home when I go home. But I wait and do it when I'm working out, like on my bike.
Okay.
Or when I'm on the treadmill, which I haven't been able to do because of my broken toe. I'd listen to podcasts and, just spending that time, your workout time, doing something that's meaningful as well. Something else that's
meaningful or enjoyable. Something you look forward to.
Like I love my workout soundtrack that I do when I'm on the treadmill. Sometimes I listen to that, although it's hard because I want to dance. But and that's another thing, like choosing things like movement that you really like. Like if you like to dance, don't be embarrassed joining up on Zumba or whatever, one of those things, or going and doing belly dancing, which is a really good workout. But also YouTube have some really great dancing. It's free. So you might have the ads occasionally, but that's another thing. Go and put YouTube dance thing on and you just do something enjoyable, something that you love. Whether it could be hula hooping. I have a hula hoop out in the garage that I really want to get back into. And it's exercise alone, because I have to keep bending it down and picking it up. I used to be so good at hula hooping, and I think you think that it would just come back to me, but
no,
it hasn't.
I'm rubbish at it.
Oh, I used to be so good at it. So that's, that's a challenge. That's something that I want to do, is to get back into hula hooping without having to constantly, be getting it off the ground. But you just perseverance will do that. So I think setting challenges is a fun little thing. Like every week, just choose something. Whether it's even, trying a different food. That's something too, or, a recipe, like I said, that's totally from scratch. Like make your own broth. You just have to put everything in a pot and leave it for 3 hours. It's not complicated. The weekends.
Tricky.
And if people say they don't have time, you think of how much time people spend wasting time. I saw somebody speaking the other day, and it resonated with me, and I double checked this to see. He said between the sleeping, the working, the eating, you have 4 hours. And what you choose to do in those 4 hours, those spare hours, can mean a lot. You can turn your life around in that time.
Use it well.
Use it well, rather than just sitting in front of the TV. I mean, that's fine to do too. Like if you're crocheting or doing something like that, or watching something informative, but rather than just vegging, I mean, read a book, but you can read a book on a bike, so just use those 4 hours well. And I thought that was a good thing.
That
I've
is
sort
true.
of taken that. I've taken that on. Hey, speaking of taking it on, because, the last one we did was about charisma. Have you found that, have you used that in any way? The whole, any takeaways from that?
Not externally, but to myself, I have. So
you have? Okay.
When I'm sort of doing a job or anything around the house, I've kind of tried to, instead of just mindlessly doing, I've been trying to really focus on it, and then almost taking that control, thinking I'm doing this really well. Like self-talk, I guess.
Right.
So I've done that a little bit, and then try to be a bit like that whole my own leading lady thing that we talked about in the episode. So I've tried to do that, and then I've sort of tried to be a little bit aware of, I wonder how I would be perceived by someone else when I'm doing something.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Was my thing. That was my thing. Just to my husband more than anything, because I think, people closest to it when we're tired and we're, stressed or whatever, it seems like the ones closest to us get probably the worst deal.
Yeah, the rough end of the stick.
Yeah. And so I was using it for that, thinking,
okay,
I'll listen better and I will not take the fact that I feel really stressed out right now out on him. Yeah. So I just wondered if you sort of thought of that. But you were saying about how being in the moment when you were doing things and using like a positive way of thinking for that. But that's also what people can do when they start on this journey too, I think, don't you?
I do. Like, and I want to
be in the moment.
Be in the moment. And I want to give this as a little giveaway tip for people, is smile while you're doing it, because it makes such a difference. Remove the mindset of deprivation, remove the mindset of having to do this and woe is me and look what I'm having to do. Just smile while you're lighting up a little bit and go, do you know what? Look what I'm doing for myself. I'm investing in myself. I'm improving myself. And I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing while I'm doing it. And I think that itself will transform the way that we approach it. So I think that would be my top tip. I don't know.
And taking off the pressure too. This is something that I've written down. The whole how we used to eat our meals is changing. I think you can have a sandwich for dinner. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Put some ham on it, put some tomatoes, some lettuce, load it up with some veggies. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You don't have to eat all your nutrients in one day or in one go. So that's something to just take the pressure off. The simpler I think that your meals can be, the less strain and stress it is, I think, on your body to, it's every bit easier to process for your body. So and celebrate the small goals.
Celebrate, smile, take away the stress, simplify things,
simplify it, small, and just enjoy the process, I think.
And enjoy the fact that you're doing it for yourself.
So speaking of smaller meals and just simplifying things, well, actually lunch doesn't have to be simple. Lunch is my favorite meal of the day. What are some things that you're making yourself for lunch this week, Sarah? Got anything planned?
Well, it's probably worth mentioning that when this goes out, I will have had my surgery. So we're recording, but this is going to go out.
So you'll be having somebody else make your lunch.
I'm going to have someone else make my lunch for a little while.
Yeah.
And actually, last time I remember that I just wanted simple things. So some really nice sourdough toast I really enjoyed figs. So some figs and some soft cheese and honey on it. And lots and lots and lots of water. So I was drinking lots to try and help with all my medication and all the swelling and stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to be having. I'm going to be a little bit reliant on other people, but that's the type of food that I am going to ask for and I enjoy. So that's me. What about you? What are you going to have?
Soup, because I always like a good soup
season.
Butternut squash soup it's going to be. But I like little plates of things. I'm always up for a sandwich, and I make this really good salmon salad that I really need to put on my web or on our website. It's got yogurt and malt vinegar in it, and instead of mayonnaise, it's delicious. So keeping in mind this will come out after your surgery, what is a goal? What's one goal you want to achieve every day this coming week?
Okay, I think I want to make sure that, so after surgery, I'm going to have physio exercises that obviously they give to you, and it's quite hard for me to focus. I'm going to make sure that I do my exercises every day so that my routine stays a little bit the same. So that's going to be my goal, is my physio exercises.
Okay, that's good. Well, mine is going to be just smaller portions, focusing on that, because that makes a big difference to me.
I tell you what else I'm going to do, Lovoni.
Okay.
Just in relation to this, I'm going to try and smile through my journey post-surgery. I know it's
smile
bloody
knowing you
hard,
don't have to do
bloody
it
hard,
again.
but I can smile knowing that I've Yeah,
It's
exactly
done.
that.
They're both done now.
2024 is going to be, I can start planning some great stuff. So yeah, I'm going to smile as well and try and enjoy that journey as much as I possibly can.
I'll remind you of that.
Thanks.
Okay. Join us next week when we chat with our special guest, Greg, about how he dealt with having to make quite radical changes to his diet due to a health issue, how he's dealt with this, and what the positive outcome of this is. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please send us a message. If there's a subject you think we should cover, visit our website, lovoniandsarah.com, for more on each episode, plus some delicious recipes. Find links in the notes below to connect with us on social media. I'll also add links from things that we've spoken of today, what I'm wearing. We're now on YouTube, so make sure to give us a watch and listen to us, especially today, seeing as we are dressed up for Halloween. A final thought, and we're going to be a little bit bossy here, but listen up, okay? This journey, when you've decided, okay, to do it, which is now, of course, keep it simple, go slowly, be adventurous, okay? That's important. Where was I? Plan meals weekly that you love. Rethink traditional Western meals, so you don't have to have cereal for breakfast. Challenge yourself each week through exercise and food. Buy yourself some lovely, comfy underwear and some clothes. And, I get all my stuff on discount. I always, keep my eye out for that. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Clean out your pantries and closets that look like panties. But, whatever. Whatever floats your boat. Get rid of all the shit. This is a good time for a purge, okay? Yeah. Stop procrastinating. That's a big thing. Let go of the all or nothing mentality, because we've all been there and done that. This is a new way of life, so make it work for you. Let go of the guilt as well, and the I'll start tomorrow. Stop thinking this is going to be hard. You can transform yourself, and in doing so, you can transform your life. So what are you waiting for? Thanks for listening. Bye for now.
Bye.